decision because it compromises what your ultimate goal is, which is to elevate the WNBA brand.
The WNBA is in huge trouble now that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are eliminated from the WNBA playoffs.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried.
They lost to Alyssa Thomas and the Connecticut Sun 87-81 on Wednesday. This was the Fever's first time in the playoffs since 2016.
2 years ago, their home attendance was 1,800 fans. Their average this year, home attendance, is 17,000. That's almost 10 times. And, of course, the big difference is Caitlin Clark. I think she should be up for MVP.
The Fever, led by Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, finished the season strong to get the 6th seed in the WNBA rankings.
Ball movement on this possession. Loco shot. Loco make for Clark.
Now, you might think it's not that bad for Caitlin's first year, and you're right. But the Fever being out of the playoffs already is literally the worst thing that could have happened to the WNBA at this point.
There's going to be a significant amount of less fans watching the WNBA now that Caitlin is no longer in the picture. A lot of the Indiana Fever fans or Caitlin Clark fans that you speak of are no longer going to watch the WNBA now that the Indiana Fever are out.
And to fix this, they're going way too far. Are the other players going to bring in the viewers Clark does? No. Are the other teams going to bring the viewers in? No. Are they even going to bring in full stadiums at least? Well, the answer is no.
For the first time ever, they have a superstar in this league that not only has the ability to draw a mainstream audience, she also has the ability to play actual basketball. Not pretend basketball. Caitlin Clark is a legitimate professional basketball player. But for some reason, the WNBA just can't seem to get the hell out of their own way.
The W is in a lot of trouble now that the Fever are out. We'll probably all witness the viewer numbers plummet from now on.
But obviously, it's always important to give credit where it's due. And I think we all realize where the credit needs to be given as far as the success of this WNBA season. Caitlin Clark came in and made such an impact on how many people started to care about the WNBA.
The WNBA is expected to completely collapse at this point, and who would have thought? We all knew Caitlin was the reason people were watching, and now that she's gone, the people are gone. But this goes even further. The WNBA and its sponsors have caught on to this, and now they're trying to do damage control because they need ratings. They can't have a rookie girl as their poster figure because she's out, and well, according to the behind-the-scenes info, she isn't the exact poster girl the W was hoping for. It's all getting exposed right in front of our eyes at this very moment.
Everything that we've been talking about, like what's wrong with the WNBA, what's wrong with diversity, equity, inclusion, what's wrong with this race agenda, what's wrong with this Black Queens agenda. And so he's written a story about Nike and why Nike has been reluctant to take advantage of Caitlin Clark. The WNBA's never had anything. Nothing. Cheryl Miller couldn't really move the needle. Candace Parker couldn't really move the needle. Now they have this woman, and she's made the WNBA relevant. And I'm like, why isn't she being promoted? And how did Nike get her at such a reasonable, wasn't it a 22 or 32?
$28 million
over 8 years. I'm like, that doesn't add up to me.
Jason Whitlock is completely right here. Why would Nike invest this much just to let it slip? And why would the WNBA not invest any resources into the one asset that they have? It all has to do with the stereotype the W would like to see. And this isn't even the worst part. Here comes the kicker, and it shows us exactly why Caitlin Clark is being ignored by Nike.
I know the mainstream media wants us to believe that the WNBA is surging in popularity. I know analysts like Monica McDougal at ESPN. They want us to recognize elite layup missers and failed dunkers. But what Casey has been telling you guys all season, it has been true. What I have said countless times over the past few months, it is finally being proven without a shadow of a doubt. Caitlin Clark is a megastar. Caitlin Clark is a box office draw, while the rest of the WNBA, It is nothing but a polished turd.
Crazy, right? And what is the impact of this? Well, it's easy to see. This is exactly what happened. Caitlin Clark got eliminated, and now the league can forget her. At least that is what they and Nike want, right? What are your thoughts on that? Is the W finished for this year now that Clark is out? And will the fans tune in next year when she's back? Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Now back to Clark and her game last night. The Fever's strong recovery throughout the season was insufficient, as the Sun advanced to the WNBA semifinals for the 6th straight season. The Fever may not have gotten the conclusion they wanted this season, as they were swept by the Sun, but there is still a lot to be pleased about. When this team began the season with a 118 record, they were written off. However, the combination of Clark and Boston is something the Fever can build on. Both Boston and Clark were named to the WNBA All-Star team as rookies, and it's almost certain that the Fever will have back-to-back Rookie of the Year winners. If the Fever can keep improving, they will almost surely return next season. And despite the defeat, Fever rookie wonder Caitlin Clark had a fantastic performance, ending with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists, while nearly leading a fourth-quarter rally to save Indiana's season. Clark is the first rookie in WNBA history to have a 25-point, 5-rebound, 5-assist playoff game, and the first rookie to achieve a 25-9-5 in a WNBA or NBA playoff game since Magic Johnson in 1980. Despite just playing 2 postseason games, Clark has contributed to one of the finest rookie seasons in WNBA history. Clark got off to a strong start in Game 2, hitting down her first three-pointer after a rough shooting night in Game 1. She gradually cooled off as the toughness of Connecticut wore down Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, both of whom played the entire 40 minutes.
Tipping up the floor, Mitchell's three is good!
Despite the hefty exertion, Clark got a second wind as the Fever attempted to get back into the game in the fourth quarter. She gave Indiana a late lead with a three-pointer with 4 minutes left.
Clark for the lead!
But Sun guard Marina May immediately answered with a three of her own, and the Sun pulled away. The Fever found the proper combination of players and play style in the second half of Caitlin Clark's first season, catching fire and rising to the number 6 seed. Following a slow start to the season, Indiana increased their tempo and added Lexi Hull to the starting lineup, eventually becoming one of the top offenses in the WNBA. Now the Fever face a critical summer in which they must continue to develop around their 2 core players, Clark and Aaliyah Boston. If Clark improves in her second year, she has the potential to lead a team to a championship with the proper pieces around her. The Fever's first priority of business this summer will be to re-sign guard Kelsey Mitchell, who shined after the Olympic break this year and turbocharged the Fever attack down the line. Mitchell and Clark had a solid rapport as the season progressed, and Christy Sides began employing them in actions together to produce friction for defenders. Mitchell's season average was 19.2 points per game. In terms of external acquisitions, the Fever might incorporate an athletic wing into their rotation. Hull performed admirably as a 3-and-D option this season, but the Fever could use someone who can fill that role either with Hull in smaller lineups or as a backup. Consider Misha Hines-Allen of the Minnesota Lynx, who will be a free agent this offseason. Despite the Fever's season-ending defeat to the Sun, the Star broke another record and became the first player in WNBA history to average at least 18 points, 5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 2.0 steals, and 1.0 blocks per game across an entire series. Michael Jordan is the only other athlete to have accomplished this feat in both the WNBA and the NBA, which is fairly rare company. Clark, who had a difficult Game 1, has repeatedly demonstrated that no amount of hardship can keep her down for long. The Fever guard, like a 10-year veteran, has a goldfish memory because she constantly gives her all and does not let past incidents snowball into the present. Clark led the Fever in Game 2 with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists on 10-23 shooting, and she only turned the ball over 3 times, below her season average. This was a good rebound from her 11-point, 8-assist effort in Game 1 when she shot only 4-17 from the floor. Of course, course. It's worth noting the WNBA first-round matchups are only best of 3. The Sun comfortably defeated the Fever in Game 1, 93-69, and then, in Game 2, Connecticut survived a much stronger effort from Indiana, thereby ending Caitlin Clark's season. Given the disparity in the number of games necessary to complete a playoff series, it's possible that comparing Clark to Jordan is a little misleading. However, one must admit that the Fever guard's propensity to accumulate stats is exceptional, and it won't be long until that converts into postseason success. Caitlin Clark's cultural influence cannot be emphasized enough. She has attracted a record number of WNBA viewers. The WNBA has become popular due in large measure to her marketability, but she backs up her marketability with remarkable skill, converting the Fever from a perennial lottery club to a playoff contender in the span of a season. Clark has seen her fair share of growing pains. With the Fever struggling to begin the 2024 season, she has become increasingly comfortable playing against the game's veterans, and she has demonstrated that she not only belongs, but she is there to stay at the top of the WNBA totem pole. Clark, only 22 years old, has already established many WNBA records, including the assist record, which she is expected to beat in the future, especially if she addresses her turnover issues. Clark should also make the Fever an appealing destination for free agents, allowing the team to develop a true title contender going ahead. So, will you be watching the Fever again next year? Could they get a top 4 seed in 2025 and even make it to the semifinals? Let's take a look at why the women in the WNBA hates Caitlin Clark.
Stephen A., I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving. Because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team out there.
If your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning, I don't want to hear it.
This is the most popular women's basketball player in the world.
Some of us felt like maybe she hadn't proved it in the WNBA, but at this point, she certainly has. So she proved everybody wrong.
What about the guards? Let's talk about the guards that did make it. Talk about the guards that did make it. How they play, Andrea? Because you were one of the ones that say she didn't earn it. How did the guards play that was in the Olympics? How did they play?
For sure, but we can't take how Caitlin finished the W season and pivot that to how she would have done in the Olympics. That's a completely different
All I'm saying
argument.
is, look at that point. Look at how she played up until that point. Chelsea Gray had only played one game before she went to the Olympics.
For what seems like forever, Angel Reese has been gunning for Caitlin Clark. It kicked off with that infamous John Cena "You can't see me move" and the ring finger taunt during the 2023 NCAA Championship. But that was just the opening act. Fast forward to the WNBA, and Reese cranked it up a notch by straight up smacking Clark on the dome without batting an eye. During the All-Star Weekend practice, Reese pulled off a miracle 3 right after Clark bricked hers. Instead of showing any sportsmanship, Reese went full-on celebration mode with everyone except Clark, acting like she didn't even exist. This isn't just rivalry anymore, folks. Whether you want to call it low-key bullying, passive-aggressive shenanigans, or straight-up mean girl tactics, it's crystal clear Reese has it out for Clark. Sure, when the cameras start rolling, Reese tries to play it cool. She's all, "Nah, me and Caitlin Clark aren't enemies or anything." She's been caught saying stuff like, "I need everyone to get that it's just intense competition."
Like, me and Caitlin Clark don't hate each other. Like, I want everybody to understand that it's just a super competitive game, and like, I would just wish people realize that, like, once I get between those lines, it's no friends. People are just trying to make it seem like it's something, but I love Caitlin, I love her game, and I admire everything that she's done.
But let's be real. Actions speak way louder than words, and Reese's actions are screaming a whole different story. Friday, August 30th, the stage was set for another Clark versus Reese showdown. But this wasn't just any old regular season matchup. This wasn't just any game. It was the inaugural Barbie-themed extravaganza hosted by the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese, aka Bayou Barbie, in college, and now Chi-Town Barbie in the Windy City, was supposed to be the poster child for the whole anything is possible vibe. The arena was drowning in pink, all set up for what should have been Reese's time to shine. And if that wasn't enough pressure, this was their final rookie face-off. Back in college, Angel had Caitlin's number, leading 4-1. But in the big leagues, Caitlin was ahead 2-1. This game was Caitlin's shot at a dominant 3-1 lead, or Angel's chance to even the score. Before the game even tipped off, Angel was oozing confidence. Sure, she had this one in the bag. She even showed up dressed as Dennis Rodman, striking poses and working it like a runway model before the first whistle. It was a spectacle that screamed, "This is my turf, and I'm about to run the show." Caitlin Clark? She was all business when she rolled into Wintrust Arena. No flashy entrance, no costume party, just a baller laser focused on the task at hand. The difference between the two couldn't have been more night and day. From the jump, Clark's intensity was off the charts. She came out guns blazing, stepping up her game big time. Caitlin Clark from downtown, nothing but net for her first long-range missile. But despite her best efforts, the Sky's supporting cast was on fire, raining threes like there was no tomorrow. At one point, the scoreboard read 21-9, and it looked like the Sky was about to turn this into a blowout. I bet in that moment, all Angel Reese could hear was the sweet sound of victory playing in her head. But here's the thing about Clark. She was locked in, remember? And as for the Sky's three-point barrage, well, their hot streak was about to go ice cold. The Fever started mounting a comeback with Clark leading the charge. By the time the first quarter wrapped up, we were looking at a nail-biting 26-23 game. Clark knew exactly what was up, so to kick off the second quarter, she casually drained a logo three like it was nothing, closing the gap even more. The announcer lost his mind.
The Fever, good ball movement on this possession. Logo shot! Logo make for Clark!
Clark kept pulling off jaw-dropping plays, even chatting it up with the crowd, playfully asking if her shots were good. Meanwhile, Reese was struggling so hard, it made that ESPN tweet about the top rookie look like a bad joke. If you think I'm exaggerating, just wait till you see how the rest of this game unfolded, because things only got better for Caitlin and way, way worse for Angel. As the third quarter kicked off, the Sky was getting desperate to shut Clark down, resorting to some shady tactics like not giving her a safe place to land. It was a risky move that could have ended badly, but Clark didn't even flinch. Reese, on the other hand, they were guarding her at the three-point line like she was the next coming of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Too bad for Reese. She's no Greek freak. The Fever made her pay in the paint, and when she tried to go on the attack, it was just fail after epic fail. Here comes Reese putting her head down. Oops, Butterfingers. By the time the third quarter wrapped up, it was clear as day. Caitlin was putting on a clinic, and Angel was having a night to forget. And remember, this was after Angel's whole Rodman cosplay and model routine before the game on Barbie Day in the Sky's own house. Clark had racked up an impressive 23 points and 9 dimes, while Reese was stuck at a measly 5 points and 7 boards. Then came the fourth quarter, where Clark continued to look like a superstar, while Reese and the Chicago Sky, let's just say they weren't exactly showing grace under pressure. When it came to pure hoops, Clark was in a league of her own. Whether she was draining shots or dishing out assists, Clark was unstoppable. The game got so lopsided, with the lead ballooning to 25 points, that Clark started tossing up shots you'd see in a game of horse. The Sky's frustration boiled over into some cheap shots. When Diamond DeShields collided with Clark, from one angle, it almost looked accidental, like she was trying to help her up afterward. But from another view, it was clear she was just whining to the ref, insisting it wasn't a foul. It was so blatant that even Deuce Bigelow himself, comedian Rob Schneider, chimed in, tweeting, "The fact this assault didn't get an immediate ejection from the ref means the WNBA needs to fire this zebra, overhaul the rulebook, and slap a hefty fine on this player for such a flagrant foul." For real, something's gotta give here. I mean, after that incident, a mind-blowing stat came to light. Apparently, 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA have been against Caitlin Clark, with the Chicago Sky. Yeah, Angel Reese's squad, responsible for a whopping 80% of them. Still think I'm reaching about Angel having it out for Clark? Anyway, not long after that drama, Caitlin Clark wrapped up her stellar performance with 31 points and 12 assists, gave the crowd a wave, and headed to the bench. And this is where things took a turn for the hilarious for the fans, but became absolutely mortifying for Angel Reese. With just under 4 minutes on the clock, Clark was living it up on the bench with her teammates. Meanwhile, what was Angel Reese up to? Well, with her team in a 27-point hole, Reese was still out there, desperately chasing a few extra points and rebounds to secure a double-double. Like a textbook stat patter, she stayed in the game just to inflate her numbers. It was beyond comical. Picture this. Caitlin's on the bench, laughing it up with her squad, busting moves, sipping on some Gatorade, while Angel Reese is out there on a mission to hit that double-double. I couldn't help but crack up. Let me paint this picture one more time. Caitlin Clark, chillin' on the bench, having the time of her life with her team, while ESPN's supposed frontrunner for Rookie of the Year is out there stat padding like her life depends on it. To add insult to injury, she even bricked back-to-back free throws. This set off a firestorm online, with fans going off, Angel Reese stat padding in a 27-point blowout with 3 minutes left against the Fever's bench players. I can't help but laugh. She had what, 5 points with 4 minutes left in the fourth? Now suddenly she's got a double-double? Others didn't hold back. While Caitlin Clark's out here winning games, Angel's disrespecting the sport with the most blatant stat padding I've ever witnessed, all to keep some streak going that only matters to her diehard fans. It's embarrassing. She ended up with 10 points, and half of those came after the Fever had already cleared their bench and were up by 30. For those of you who want the cold hard facts, I rewatched the game footage and dove into the play-by-play data. Caitlin Clark checked out with exactly 3 minutes and 52 seconds left in the fourth, her team up by 27. After that moment, here's what Angel Reese managed. 2 buckets, 1 out of 4 from the charity stripe, 2 rebounds, 1 offensive, 1 defensive, and 1 turnover. Her final stat line for the night, 10 points and 11 rebounds, shooting 4 for 9. But if you strip away the garbage time stat padding, her real numbers would have been a measly 5 points and 9 rebounds on 2 for 7 shooting. That's a brutal 28% from the field. Listen, after all the smack talk Reese aimed at Caitlin Clark during March Madness, that cheap shot earlier in the season, and the way she egged on her teammate after that near assault on Caitlin, this was Caitlin Clark's classy clapback. No trash talk, no disrespect. She just let her game do the talking, absolutely schooling Angel Reese on her home court, while vibing with the crowd in Reese's own backyard. Ladies and gents, we just witnessed the day Caitlin Clark utterly humiliated Angel Reese. But let's keep it 100. Caitlin's game has been making everyone look silly, not just Angel. On September 15th, 2024, Caitlin Clark etched her name in WNBA history with a performance that left fans and analysts alike in awe. Facing the Dallas Wings, Clark surpassed Simone Augustus's WNBA rookie single-season scoring record, illuminating the court with a career-high 35 points. This electrifying display not only secured a nail-biting victory for the Indiana Fever, but also solidified Clark's position among the league's all-time greats. The game kicked off with Caitlin Clark controlling the ball, but it was Kelsey Mitchell who initiated the scoring, finding Nalissa Smith for a smooth layup. The Wings quickly answered as Natasha Howard cleaned up a missed shot, putting Dallas on the board. The energy in the building surged when Arike Ogunbowale made Kelsey Mitchell stumble before draining a three-pointer. Aaliyah Boston, not to be outdone, responded with a drive to the hoop for a layup. Satu Sabali kept the Wings' momentum going with a sharp three-pointer, but Nalissa Smith maintained the Fever's intensity with another layup. The back and forth continued with McCowan and Boston trading baskets inside. As the first quarter progressed, both teams showcased their offensive prowess. Natasha Howard hit a jumper, Awak Queer added a beautiful step back two, and Satu Sabali kept Dallas in the game with her own layup. The Wings' offensive onslaught continued with Arike Ogunbowale striking again, this time with a stunning step-back three-pointer. It was at this point that Caitlin Clark made her presence felt, knocking down her first three-pointer of the game. The clean shot had the crowd buzzing, a hint of the historic performance to come. Sabali, however, was quick to answer with another smooth three, showing no signs of backing down. The quarter ended with both teams locked in a competitive battle, the Wings holding a 34-26 lead over the Fever, but the stage was set for Clark's record-breaking night. As the second quarter began, Clark wasted no time, hitting a three-pointer to ignite Indiana's offense.
Challenge that Dallas has had all year. Clark catch and shoot and knocks down her second three. Very well executed for Caitlin Clark.
She was then fouled on another three-point attempt and calmly sank all three free throws, inching Indiana closer. Clark's relentless drive was evident as she circled around defenders for a jump shot, adding another 2 points to her tally. She followed it up by nailing another three-pointer, bringing the Fever within striking distance. Clark's playmaking abilities were on full display as she found Kelsey Mitchell with a bounce pass for a backdoor layup. As the second quarter came to a close, the Wings held on to a slim 59-57 lead, but Clark's impact was becoming increasingly apparent. The third quarter saw Clark finding her rhythm again, hitting a deep two-pointer. She then nailed a beautiful three-pointer, showcasing her scoring prowess once more. Clark's vision was evident as she set up teammates for scoring opportunities, even if not all of them were converted. But it was in the fourth quarter that Clark truly took over the game. She opened with a driving jump shot, followed by a layup. Then, in a display of sharp shooting that left the crowd in awe, she hit back-to-back three-pointers. After drawing a foul, Clark made all her free throws, demonstrating her composure under pressure. Clark's playmaking continued to shine as she found Erica Dantas for a beautiful corner three. As the game intensified, Clark remained unstoppable, hitting both of her free throws after another foul. When the final buzzer sounded, Caitlin Clark had amassed a career-high 35 points, leading the Indiana Fever to a thrilling 110-109 victory over the Dallas Wings. But more than just a win, this game marked a historic milestone in Clark's young career. With this performance, Clark broke the WNBA rookie single-season scoring record, surpassing the mark of 744 points set by Simone Augustus in 2006. Clark's 35-point outburst pushed her total beyond this benchmark, cementing her place in WNBA history. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is the context surrounding it. Clark entered the WNBA with immense hype and expectations following her record-breaking college career. The pressure to perform at the highest level immediately was enormous. Yet, not only has Clark met these expectations, she has exceeded them in spectacular fashion. This record-breaking performance wasn't just about the points scored. It was a showcase of Clark's complete game. Her ability to score from anywhere on the court, her court vision in setting up teammates, and her clutch performance in the game's crucial moments all contributed to this historic night. Moreover, this game highlighted Clark's impact beyond just her individual statistics. Her presence on the court elevates the entire Fever team, creating opportunities for her teammates and putting constant pressure on the opposing defense. The narrow victory over a strong Dallas Wings team underscores how crucial Clark's contributions are to the Fever's success. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time Clark has made headlines this season. Earlier in the year, she broke the WNBA's all-time single-season assist record, showcasing her exceptional playmaking abilities. Now, with this scoring record, Clark has demonstrated her well-rounded game and her ability to dominate on both ends of the floor. The fact that Clark is achieving these milestones as a rookie is nothing short of extraordinary. Many players take years to adapt to the speed and physicality of the WNBA game. Clark, however, has hit the ground running, playing with a confidence and skill level that belies her rookie status. This performance against the Dallas Wings wasn't just about breaking a record. It was a statement. Clark has put the entire league on notice that she's not just here to participate, she's here to dominate. Her ability to take over games, to make clutch plays when it matters most, and to consistently perform at an elite level has set a new standard for what we can expect from a rookie in the WNBA. play. As we look to the future, it's clear that this is just the beginning for Caitlin Clark. With her combination of scoring ability, court vision, and competitive drive, there's no telling what records she might break next. Will she challenge for the MVP award in her rookie season? Could she lead the Fever to a playoff berth? The possibilities seem endless. What's certain is that Caitlin Clark has already left an indelible mark on the WNBA. Her record-breaking performance is not just a personal achievement, but a milestone for the league as a whole. It represents the continuing evolution of women's basketball, with each generation of players pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the court. For fans of the game, Clark's emergence is a thrilling development. Her style of play, a mix of long-range shooting, creative passing, and fearless drives to the basket, is not just effective, it's entertaining. She's the kind of player who can bring new fans to the sport and keep them coming back for more. As we reflect on this historic night, it's clear that we're witnessing the rise of a generational talent. Caitlin Clark isn't just breaking records. She's redefining what we thought was possible for a WNBA rookie. With each game, each assist, and each bucket, she's writing a new chapter in the league's history. The 2024 WNBA season is far from over, and if this game is any indication, Caitlin Clark has plenty more in store for us. Will she continue to break records? Will she lead the Fever to new heights? One thing's for certain: the basketball world will be watching, eager to see what this phenomenal rookie does next. In conclusion, Caitlin Clark's record-breaking performance against the Dallas Wings is more than just a remarkable individual achievement. It's a glimpse into the future of women's basketball, a testament to the evolving skill level in the WNBA, and a moment that will be remembered for years to come. As Clark continues to shock the league, breaking record after record, one thing is clear: the Caitlin Clark era has officially begun, and it promises to be nothing short of spectacular.